The Simpsons show has predicted the future more than a handful of times. Here are some of the most notable predictions made in the show which ended up becoming true, and you won't believe the last one. Starting with number 1, which is the most famous prediction of all time. Donald Trump becoming the US president. So, in season 11, episode 17, which, keep in mind, this aired in the year 2000. 23 years ago. The episode starts with a scene of Lisa Simpson as an adult, taking over as President of the United States. She is immediately faced with a budget crisis which she blames on the previous administration of Donald Trump. Lisa expresses her hope that the Trump administration did a better job than she is currently facing. The episode ends with Lisa looking determined to tackle the challenges of the presidency. The year that this episode came out, Donald Trump never even mentioned anything about running for president or becoming a president one day in the future. He was in fact a very popular and famous public figure, but there were never any politics surrounding his name at the time. There is a famous video that went around and is still going around where Donald Trump is going down the escalator in real life and this sign drops. It's very famous. Now, a lot of people all around the world said The Simpsons predicted this because there is an exact clip of this happening in The Simpsons TV show. And if we take a look, they're almost identical to each other. The Simpsons did not predict this elevator event. This episode took place after this happened in real life already. The Simpsons were just having fun. Number 2. World War III. This is good. In the season 6 episode, there were a massive amount of events that happened that have not came true yet. So in the episode Lisa's Wedding, Lisa ends up going to see a psychic and the psychic sees 15 years into her future, just telling her about her life and what's coming and going to happen to her. So in the episode, Lisa's husband goes to the bar with Homer, who is her dad. Homer ends up learning that he's actually British, and for some reason, he doesn't know that he's already British. I don't know, that's whatever. Homer gives him a beer saying this is from him because they saved him from World War II, meaning the United States saved him in World War II. And Lisa's husband goes on to say, yeah, but it was us that saved you in World War III, which Homer admits is true. Now, if you have been living under a rock, there are a bunch of events taking place around the world. Tensions are also rising between the countries. There's a specific event happening somewhere in the world that isn't classified as a war. I can't say the names because YouTube won't push this video if I do, but you know what I'm talking about. Personally, I think it's more than a war, and fun fact, most wars aren't even titled as a war until years later. We're gonna move on to number 3. A zombie apocalypse. Zombies in shows, movies, and all over the world is a really popular topic. So, The Simpsons making a prediction about zombies is not random. In an episode from 2009 titled Treehouse of Horror, the local burger restaurant, Krusty's Burger, releases a new popular menu item called Krusty Squared. So, what he does is take grade A beef cows, takes them out back, if you know what I'm saying, and then takes the cow meat and feeds it to another cow. Then those cows get turned into hamburgers, and those hamburgers are being fed to the characters in The Simpsons show. This is just a crazy concept to begin with, but so, Krusty Squared, it makes sense, right? So the whole town starts eating these burgers and they realize something. They begin turning into zombies. The Simpsons actually call them munchers. Oh, we're gonna call them zombies for the sake of this prediction. Boy, do I have news for you. Scientists just discovered a 48,000-year-old virus that they are calling, you ready for this? The zombie virus. I'm not kidding. Now, I do have good news. The virus is frozen, so therefore it cannot spread unless someone were to unfreeze this and open it up to the whole world, which would literally wipe out every human. Going into our 4th prediction, this one refers back to number 1, the same episode, Bart to the Future, where Lisa Simpson is president. But we're not going to be talking about Donald Trump this time. We're going to focus on Lisa Simpson. Let's take a look at what Lisa is wearing in this episode as the first female president. Does this look familiar to you? Well, it's because Vice President Kamala Harris wore this exact same outfit during her inauguration. The purple suit, the pearl necklace, This is identical. For some reason, nobody is talking about this. So many questions rise when looking at these images. Did The Simpsons predict Kamala Harris being in the White House? Will Kamala Harris be a future president of the United States? And if so, they just predicted it right there. Coming in at number 5, we have The Simpsons predicting the ending of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is an amazing show, and if you haven't watched it already, I advise you start it after this video. This is a spoiler, by the way. Game of Thrones is known for having one of the worst endings of all time in television history. A lot of the fans and critics were insanely upset with how the writers decided to end the show. But what a lot of people don't know is that The Simpsons actually beat Game of Thrones to the punchline. As we all know, Daenerys Targaryen rains fire down with her dragon on King's Landing, which pretty much wraps up all of the tensions and war conflicts going on in the show. What if I told you that The Simpsons predicted this? In a 2017 episode titled Simpsons, in which the show parodies Game of Thrones, the Simpsons family is standing on a hill watching as a dragon burns their town to the ground, which is exactly what happened in the end. Number 6, Ivanka Trump becoming president. Now this one has not happened, obviously. Not yet. In the episode Treehouse of Horror from 2016, the Simpsons family is trick-or-treating on Halloween. Homer, in his costume, is wearing a button that says Ivanka Trump 2028. There's no way this happens, right? Well, if you didn't know, Ivanka was heavily involved in the Donald Trump administration. It is even said that Ivanka was as important as the First Lady. Now, Ivanka has even come out and said that she wants to run for president, and she will eventually. With The Simpsons predicting Donald Trump's presidency, what's stopping them from doing it again with his daughter? And number 7, this one will surprise you. The NSA spying scandal. In 2007, The Simpsons leaped to the big screen with the predictions ready to go. And this all happened in The Simpsons movie. So in the movie, Marge discusses her plan to out the government secrets, and the government has been spying on her, so they know exactly what she's talking about. She gets sent to the headquarters of the National Security Agency. Inside, there is a room full of monitors with a whole staff listening to phone calls in the hopes of catching America's Most Wanted. It was almost as if the real NSA were listening in on the film. Like they were sitting there while the writers were writing it, and they're like, yeah, that's good, let's copy that. Because in 2013, a famous guy named Edward Snowden, which you should look him up, he revealed to the public that there are numerous secret surveillance programs the agency was already operating, meaning the government has been spying on you and me for years. They've already been doing this before it became public. So all those memes and jokes of, oh, I wonder if my FBI agent is looking through my webcam, it's true. It's actually true. They can do that, which is terrifying. How do The Simpsons do this over and over and over again? How do they keep making predictions that come true? I have an answer for that. The writers behind The Simpsons are astronomically qualified to make these predictions. Most of the writers have PhDs. This group is some of the smartest people in the entire world, and they're writing scripts for episodes of The Simpsons. That's how they make these predictions.